Ahoy, fellow Grand Nagus.
Acting Grand Nagus, and welcome aboard The Joy of Trek, a nice podcast exploring the infirmaries and closets of Star Trek, all of it. I'm Kaki.
I'm Kay.
And canvassing for Zach is your chief engineer, Greg.
Together, we're on a mission through the pockets of Star Trek to find the algae in every bottle and the excellence in every episode.
Even the pink taxes?
Ooh, because every episode must be someone's favorite, and it might as well be us.
So tighten your bottom and join us as we lumber into the joy of Trek. Hello, everyone.
Welcome, listeners. I guess you probably know, well, of course you do. You've been listening to our last week's episode, so you know which episode we're doing today.
Hey, some people just pick episodes that they like. We
Very
try to
good
be
point.
welcoming to casual listeners.
If they pick episodes they like, they already know what it is as well, because it's also in the show title.
Oh, actually, yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, if they only pick the episodes they like, they wouldn't be listening to this if they didn't like it. Okay, no, well done.
Good point. So, yes, we're doing DS9 S6 E23, Profit and Lace.
Yes.
Very poorly named, because I didn't see a single bit of lace in the entire episode.
No, it's more like sequins and pearls and,
right,
and
yes.
stuff. But then how would you have renamed it? So instead of Profit and Loss becoming Profit and Lace.
Yes. Profit and Grace?
Ooh, yeah. Well, okay, you're actually quite good at this.
Or Profit and Moss, maybe?
Ooh. First aired May 13, 1998, written by Ira Stephen Behr and Hans Beimler, and directed by Siddig El Faddil.
Yes, I saw that, yeah.
Yeah. His last credit as a director, regrettably.
He was not invited to try again.
It seems that was maybe a factor in this.
Yes.
I mean, this episode is really hooking in, or is really compatible with our original hook of taking lesser loved episodes, because it's pretty.
Oh boy, yeah.
And for those of you who don't remember what it's about, Kay, would you like to update them? And be very careful.
Yeah. So okay, the Grand Nagus Zek gets deposed by Grand Nagus Brunt.
Acting Grand Nagus. Yes. Okay. Sorry, I was a little slow there.
Because Zek has decreed that females may wear clothes and therefore apparently also leave the house and get jobs and earn profits.
Yes.
In a ploy to make sure that Zek is reinstated as Grand Nagus, they invite the Sluggo Cola merchant, who's apparently a very influential man on Ferengi, to come and talk to Mookie. What's her name again? Ishka. Thank you. Unfortunately, due to a mistimed heart attack, she is unavailable to perform this role.
That's generous.
Quark is told to do the job. Shenanigans ensure in order to get
lots of gender
fun to get everything turned back the way it should.
Lots of exploration of the old casual workplace sexism.
Yeah. So shall we get that out of the way
exploitation?
First?
No. So this concept of
I say we adjust the workforce. I say we adjust the
I had a button too.
Okay.
It's that serious.
Yes.
It's kind of not okay. The whole sort of gender politics really suck in this one.
There's a little bit of, playing attempted rape for laughs. And
Yep. And also gender transition.
I mean, to be honest, the good thing about that is that apparently gender reassignment surgery is trivial.
It's just a few
trivial.
hours.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, that's a good thing, I guess. That's canonical in Star Trek now. That you want to do a gender swap, sure. It's a minor operation, and you'll be fine on your feet in a few hours. So that's a good thing.
Let me finish up this root canal, and then we'll do your gender reassignment, and we'll have lunch. How does that sound?
Yeah. But yes.
Yeah,
I mean, it's got some. That particular scene has some very high Pepe Le Pew vibes.
Ooh, yes, yeah. Pepe Le Pew, the cartoon skunk, the amorous skunk, and the cat who's unfortunately the subject of his
affection.
Yeah.
Attention, let's call it that.
I mean, this was at a time where awareness of the gender experience and the concept of transition and was not as widely, not as widely known now as it really ought to be, but people were still using terms like transvestite, crossdresser, drag.
I mean, drag is still a correct term. But
they're totally all things.
Yeah.
But those were the correct definitions or identities were not widely known, and certainly not by these writers.
So yes, reviews were not very well, popular, let's say.
All right, let's hear it.
Binge Watching Guide for Star Trek says it recommends skipping the episode. Sci-Fi Channel included this episode in a group of Star Trek franchise episodes that felt were commonly disliked but deserved a second chance.
Oh!
Which is actually not that bad, yeah.
Well, this is that second chance. Let's see how we do.
CBR included this episode in a list of Star Trek episodes that are so bad they must be seen.
Oh, that's okay, yeah.
And Luke Snellham, an editor who walked from the documentary What We Left Behind, commented about this episode, it actually airs better today than when it originally aired, which I think is probably true. I mean, there's a lot...
Interesting, yeah. Actually, yeah. Yeah, in the 90s, we, as an audience, were still told to cringe when men express themselves in a feminine way, as if that was
right.
That was limited.
I mean, okay. Oh, sorry. Back to the Warp Core for one more moment.
Oh, yeah,
yes,
yeah.
It's like the one thing we also completely didn't forgot to mention was women are so emotional.
Yeah. The horrible stereotyping.
Yeah.
And
So we got that out of the way now.
yeah. I saw that it also received Star Trek 101's Spock's Brain Award for worst episode of Deep Space Nine.
Yeah. Okay. I'm kind of surprised to learn that Siddig and Shimerman were the ones who saw it as a serious piece. I thought they were the ones who tried to turn it into more of a comedy thing, which apparently the writers wrote it as.
Yes, this is something that came up in my research for the background as well. It was intended as another high farce like the Magnificent Ferengi, but Armin Shimerman hated the script when it originally came in.
I can imagine.
And yeah, Siddig really got interested in the sort of like power dynamics and the family dynamics.
Right. Yeah.
The heart attack scene was apparently originally filmed in a much more disturbing fashion. Okay. Because that scene is really powerful.
Oh, yes.
And then she sort of clutches her pearls and she falls over, and that's kind of comedic again. But the original heart attack was just sort of devastating, as the physical trauma of your heart stopping or going into arrhythmia kind of is. It's deeply distressing.
So yes.
But aside from all that, Mrs. Lincoln, what did you think of the play?
Yes. Well, let's get into it, shall we? Hang on. We have who recommended this episode?
Lauren Rivers.
Oh.
Yeah, she's recommended episodes to us before.
Yes.
And she says,
well, I saw this episode long before I knew I was trans. I always loved this episode because the Ferengi-centric stories are never afraid to have fun. Exploring Ferengi culture and the slow march towards equality, we see Quark forced to step in as a Ferengi female after his arguments with his mother reach a boiling point. But not only is it a brilliant performance by Armin Shimerman, but it's a really fun look at the Ferengi family and an unquestionable sign that Quark really does love his mother, flaws and all.
Okay, yeah.
Wow.
That's I like that viewpoint. Thank you for that. That really puts a nice light on an episode which has a lot of disturbing things in it from a cultural, societal standpoint of view. At least how we see it these days, yeah.
So, okay, yes, go ahead and press the button. Let's go to Warp. Let's hit it on.
Hit it on, yeah.
Where we start with Quark just casually sexually pressuring one of his employees.
Yes, another one of those lovely moments, which apparently he was specifically told by Cisco not to do earlier in the season.
Well, that was in season 1. We're in season 6. He's probably forgotten by now. So now I'm just.
Yes, he's giving a glowing performance review.
But I'm always nice to you.
I think you could be nicer.
How much nicer?
Oh, yeah, he's a total sleazebag.
Is there anyone I've offended? And look into my eyes. Do you not see the hurt there? And he gives her a book.
Umaks for fun and profit?
It's a quick read.
Yeah, the profit part, that one seems interesting.
I mean, it suggests a sex worker thing,
Yeah.
It's self-help, how to get into Umaks for fun and profit on Ferengi. I mean, interesting things. Like, how would you do that?
What?
I mean, we don't know. I mean, presumably most Ferengi are straight.
Yeah. Did you see their outfits?
I know. Well, fair enough. Okay, we are never given the.
No, exactly.
On the other hand, all the waiters are male, and it's like, I know it's like, son, I've been out on the boats, but it's not.
You're an actor? Which restaurant?
Anyway.
I don't know. They must have a healthy sex work industry.
I guess.
Right, if the social stigma is against women wearing, females wearing clothes in public, well, and every stricture has its exceptions that are sort of integrated.
Yeah.
I remember reading an article a journalist went to Saudi Arabia to explore gay culture there.
Yeah.
And she met with some gay gentlemen who drove her around, and that was actually like their biggest risk because they were unrelated, and for a man and a woman to be in a car together,
Right, yeah.
like there were checkpoints where that would seriously be a problem. But the people that she spoke with, like, yeah, okay, there's the hammams, there's bathhouses, and there's certain times of day, and everybody knows where it's, you know,
Right.
you can just go and enjoy the company of like-minded gentlemen. And for such a like gender segregated society, it's actually really easy to get a cock in
Sure,
you know,
yeah.
in the words of these gentlemen. But driving around with a journalist of the other gender, like that's a huge risk he was taking on her behalf.
Driving around with a female of the opposite sex.
Yeah, there you go.
Where's that from again?
I don't know, Kay.
Is it from Hello Hello?
Oh, it could be.
It's an Hello Hello joke, yeah.
The British comedy series about Second World War era French resistance
Right.
and occupation.
Which is, I mean, kind of appropriate to talk about in the light of this episode because, like, you know, in British, like a man in a dress is the height of British comedy.
Ah, yeah. Which was, I think, a backronym for drag, like or a retroactive. What's it called? A retroactive definition.
That's a backronym. Yeah.
Backronym for drag, dressed as a girl.
Okay, yeah, I never heard that one before.
It doesn't quite work.
No.
But actually, this is a really interesting. I know our chief engineer. Hi, Greg. By the way, hope you're doing okay out there in your lonely little grey room. It must be really depressing for him just sort of sitting in his room all day.
Well, he's working in the Ferengi call center, canvassing for Zakat, as I understand. So.
Yeah, he's got all these amazing side jobs that he keeps doing while we're working on the podcast.
You said that I'm in a dark gray room, but you can hear the warp core behind me, so you know that, like, I've got, like, a really great light show for when I'm just completely tripping out. Like, it's pretty great to just kind of, like, zone out for a bit, just stare at the warp core. Sorry. What were we saying again?
Like, how do we talk about this episode? And specifically, Quark's experience as a female. Is that a gender transition? Well, he's got a...
That's how it's played.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, pronouns are changed. But it could also be drag, where a lot of the same things happen. It's a performance, but the drag character, persona, also has a name and pronouns.
Sure. But, I mean, it's like it's actually gender reassignment surgery that's been performed on him twice.
Yeah, but if it's that easy, then it's just the same as, you know, changing a dress, right?
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah,
Behr, they got Behr to play along with it, so it must be... trivial.
Exactly,
yeah.
Which is kind of awesome. Imagine just how often they're doing that all the time, just off screen. But it could also be cross-dressing, which is not the same as drag, right? And
no, totally not.
It could also be, I mean, just shenanigans. It's really just kind of shenanigans.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, okay, well, we know it's surgery because it passes the eye test, you know. It's like...
Oh, what I mean is, you know, gender transition doesn't require alteration of the body.
No, of course not.
Right, so whether or not there was...
I don't understand what you're trying to get at.
What I'm getting at is that whether or not he had surgery in order to present as female doesn't affect, like, the nature of that performance. Like, right, in the modern day, if a drag queen or a drag king could just casually have a chromosomal reassignment, you know, saves on makeup. Sure, yeah. Well, anyway.
I mean, okay, to me, a drag performance has more of a performance act towards it. It's done for entertainment. Usually.
It has an act, yes.
Yes.
Even if it's unscripted, like it's a persona. Yeah, okay.
So in that regard, I wouldn't call it that, but...
cross-dressing?
I guess so, yeah.
Kind of?
I mean, impersonation, is it really what it is? Like,
oh, yeah. Oh, God, I'm reminded of Defiance, a television series and multimedia franchise by Rockne S. O'Bannon, who also created Farscape.
Mm-hmm.
Aliens on Earth, a sort of integrated society and also, like, heavily racist. And there's a leader of the racist human regime, a new leader who's introduced, who casually sort of visits essentially alien drag clubs on the side.
Okay.
There are these clubs where humans, like, make themselves up and express themselves in the language.
Kind of like a furcon.
Yeah, or vampire, right? Role-playing a nightclub. And it's just... I wonder if this was a thing that historically happened with, like, blackface.
Ooh.
Right? During the disastrous recession era. Blackface is, of course, a form of highly offensive entertainment. But whether people did that to experience...
Have a blackface party.
Yeah, as a form of personal deviance. And
no idea.
Okay. So anyway, the 90s, pretty cool, right?
About cheerful subjects.
We need to talk.
Go away. I'm in the middle of a meeting.
But it's important.
So is this meeting.
It's about our mother.
Rom comes running in a panic, like, oh no, Ferenginar's been destroyed, the Death Star has blown it up.
Yes, exactly. It's really excessive because he can't get in touch with anyone.
Yes, he's tried to call Amuki, he's tried to call the Nagus, he's even tried to contact the Tower of Commerce.
Yeah,
and it's
and
like,
nobody's
responding. Quark is like, don't bother me, I'm busy harassing.
But Rom stands his ground, as he so often does, because he knows he's completely right. Our planet is being devastated by the rain swarm. We have to do something. No, it doesn't even occur to him to do something. He's just panicking. He wants someone to panic with.
Yes. It's like, I don't want a solution, I want to panic. It's
And they run up to ops, which, civilians can just apparently walk into this command center and...
I guess, yeah.
You see the other officers have to sort of struggle to walk past these as they're blocking the way.
A Dominion invasion of Ferenginar?
Think of the terrible repercussions to the Alpha Quadrant. I cannot think of any.
Well, other than giving them a foothold, but yes.
Sisko gamely listens to them all and says, we'll find out what we can. And then Jadzia pipes up, oh yeah, a Ferengi shuttle has just arrived.
Happening to be arriving here from Ferenginar.
With the Nagas and Ishka.
Okay, so here comes my teleportation thing. So what's happening? Like the shuttle docks at DS9, right?
Sure, yes.
Then the door opens and the Grand Nagus is standing there. Then we get a shot of Quark and Rom and the Grand Nagus' attendant with all their luggage.
Yeah,
How did he get off the ship before the Grand Nagus? Did they the attendant come off the ship first, then close the door back again so that the Grand Nagus can then make his entrance?
Well, no, I'm following you, but the door doesn't open. So, yeah, I think Behr just walked ahead, and they're now just all sort of still waiting for him to come out of the shuttle.
That seems unlikely. I mean...
Does it?
It's usually not... You don't usually send the servants out first,
Who knows how many luggage runs he's already done? He's just
Even
been
then,
in and out.
why would they wait for that? Presumably they want to get out. But yeah, no, it's a bit weird.
Yeah. I love the look of these Ferengi shuttles. They look like ticks.
No, yes, I can see where you're coming from.
You know, they got a really narrow front bit and a big old honking thorax.
Bit of bloated butt, yeah.
And
Right,
Ishka is so glad to see Rom.
I was so worried.
You're a good son.
I was worried too.
And you're a good liar.
Played by Cecily Adams as the primary performer.
Oh, yes.
The first time that we saw her, she was Andrea Thompson. But since then, Cecily Adams has taken
Yes.
over. I never realized it was two different women.
Oh, it's a lot of makeup,
And it's a really arch performance as well. Yeah, that makeup. This woman is 9 years younger than Quark and 6 years younger than Rom.
Wow.
At the time.
Sure, whatever. It's
Yeah, exactly.
But yes, Rom again is on about the clothes. Like, is that smart to do? It's like, are you comfortable wearing that? Like, yes, still signaling that he's the one who's not comfortable with it.
Will someone please explain it? Oh, Zeki, you go and explain it. No, it's your news to share. Oh, all right.
There's good news.
Yes, give him the good news first.
Yeah.
Yeah, he made a decree, and like in a reverse Handmaid's Tale decree,
Yes.
suddenly women have rights on Ferenginar.
Better tell me the bad news. It might cheer me up.
I doubt it.
This caused a massive spat of buying and selling, which caused the communications network to come crashing down.
Yeah. And he was deposed as Grand Nagus for creating this economic instability.
Because apparently there are 432
Commissioners. in the FCA.
yes. So Brent was also a commissioner. Was he?
He was a liquidator.
Yes, it was
Yeah,
liquidator
but apparently
Brent.
he managed to bribe
Well,
himself
his way back into
their
the
good graces.
I mean, that's how it goes on Ferenginar.
And now they've been shanghaied into his campaign to have his power reinstated. Because that's really the sort of main thrust. Like, whether women continue to have rights or not
Yeah.
barely comes up.
Well, it's kind of implied that if Brunt gets his thing, then he's going to revoke that.
Yeah, but
I don't think it actually says that, but it's heavily
that's
implied.
definitely going to happen.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's not what anyone's worried about. That our whole population, 53.5% of the population, having had a taste of much-deserved freedom...
is now going to go back to sitting in the home and, not doing anything.
Nightmarish.
I mean, I guess they keep the house. I mean, that's the whole thing.
I guess.
That's what they do. But yeah, they can't go out, so someone else has to go and buy the food.
also that.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
I mean, there are civilizations that come awfully close to this.
Yeah, very much so.
Which is unfortunate.
They take over Quark's quarters.
What lovely quarters you have, Quark. Small, but lovely.
The
Knack,
word
knack, 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 knack.
nice
gets
it pulls a lot of weight in this episode.
Yes.
I think that's why our chief engineer put it in the script. It's very nice. Okay, yeah, now we know what you mean. And it gets turned into an office and basically a call center.
I love that shot. I love when Zek tells him to start campaigning, start calling all the commissioners. Yeah, it's a classic
so cool.
Shot where you only see them talking to people. And it starts off like just any cold call.
Good afternoon. I'm calling on behalf of Grand Nagus She.
Nagus summons you to a meeting here on Deep Space Nine.
He's counting on your support.
You'll be presented with some very interesting financial data.
There's profit to be earned.
And the Nagus wants you to share in these lucrative opportunities.
Because soon people realize that they're talking to... Oh, no. We're talking about Grand Nagus Zek, not Brunt.
Yeah, acting Grand Nagus Zek.
Oh,
Brunt.
very good.
Yes. We're going to get some good juice out of that.
I think so, too. I think this is a very good Jeef episode.
Yes.
Yeah, what you said earlier about not realizing that it was, or that it sounded weird to you that the director was the one who wanted this to be more serious versus the sort of farcical nature of the original script, it felt very farcical.
Yes.
The camera movements, the transitions, the music.
It was clearly written as a comedy, yeah.
And it seems to have been executed as a comedy as well.
More or less, yeah.
There's all of these shots with just beautifully framed, with Ferengi just crammed in like a Vermeer composition.
Oh, yes.
It honestly didn't seem to me like anyone was being too serious.
I guess not, no. But, I mean, the Ferengi episodes tend to be lighthearted anyway.
Yeah. Weird to ask you in the meantime.
Yeah.
Did you like it? Did you like the episode?
Oh, I mean, that's a tough question. Other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, I did.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
I actually, I think it seemed like everyone was having fun.
It has it has a lot to critique it about, but apart from the rampant sexism, and it was a good episode. It was a fun
what's
episode.
the done for us lately?
Yeah, exactly. It's like if you accept all that kind of stuff, then it was a good episode. It was
Everyone
fun.
seemed to be having a good
Exactly.
time while making it.
I mean, the story is a bit thin, It's like convincing one of the 432 commissioners. Apparently, he has enough clout with everybody else to sway the vote around. I mean, that's a bit odd, but...
Oh, I don't know. I imagine that, at least 2/3 of those 432 positions are just sinecures, are just, sons of
I don't think so.
business people given this little role.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I don't think that Ferengi are that prone to nepotism. I mean,
on what basis do you think they're not? Because the Nagus always comes to Quark, who's basically his son-in-law,
right, for
his shenanigans, which I know because he's a recurring one on
right.
DS9.
But I mean, look at how Quark treats Rom. Don't let how in the episode we watched in Acquisition, how he treats his brother or nephew, is it?
Yeah, there is certainly a degree of competitiveness there, but we don't see a lot of parent-child relationships being explored aside from Ishka and Zek and Quark and Rom.
Right, but that's So there's a bit of a. I mean, I don't know. I don't think. I mean, there might be nepotism, but it might not be very familiar. I think it's more.
Actually, nepotism is literally about nephews, isn't it?
I think so. I mean, that's what it translates like. But it's basically giving family benefits,
jobs and benefits.
I mean, I guess that if they can drain money from somewhere else and then have it go to their family and then charge them a percentage. I mean, I suppose that would work.
That's a convenient.
But then I still wouldn't call that nepotism. You can do that with anybody.
Yeah, true.
So Oh well.
Oh, family are kind of locked in through inheritance, though.
Oh, yes,
you have an inheritance relationship
that's true.
With family.
That's true. So you want to keep your money going. So I guess you want your kids, which are getting your money when you die, to be in good position so they don't squander it. Generational wealth. Yay.
Hooray! Well, there is an independently, a self-made man walks into the bar while everyone's arguing.
Grand Nagus Brunt!
Acting Grand Nagus Brunt.
Oh god, that gets. I mean, like, that's again one of those.
It doesn't get tired.
It is one of those things that's clearly intended to be a comedic effect in this episode, you know, because every time someone says Grand Negus Brunt, it's like
Acting Grand Negus.
And it's brilliant. It doesn't get tired. It escalates the right way, and then it fades out, and then it comes back again. Brilliant comedic writing. And he has his own, even taller, even broader.
Yeah. So what is this? Do we know what species this is?
Chief.
Yes, so this would be a Hyperion. And thank you for the Script for Profit Motive for including a pronunciation guide. This is why we have pronunciation guides in sci-fi scripts. So happy for this. Yes, Hyperion.
Thank you.
Because yes,
These
like
are the
I have
only ones.
I have in my notes as Lurch. Like, who's the Lurch?
I mean, basically, right? He sort of resembles the Mr. Hom archetype
Exactly.
from
That's the
Roxana Troy.
That's a different species, though. You can clearly tell, but they don't really do much. I mean, the only thing that they carry luggage and at one point stop Zek from attacking Brunt.
Performatively,
yeah, just like hold me back, you know.
You're not holding me. I like that Brunt has one that's slightly taller and slightly broader.
They do give each other the stink eye. I noticed that.
There's some competition there. Brunt taunts them. Like, I know that Nilva, the chairperson of the Sluggo Cola, is coming.
That's what happens. All of their cold calling makes that only one of the commissioners is willing to listen to them.
And actually travels to DS9.
Yes. Willing to come over to talk about. I mean, I can see how he doesn't want to be seen on Ferenginar.
Oh yeah,
conducting
good
this
point.
kind of business, so I can see that. But yes, so and Brunt actually, although he's in the middle of a succession crisis, takes his time out to come to DS9. I mean, I guess he figures that this is the only real threat there is to his ascendancy as Grand Negus.
Acting Grand Negus.
Yeah, I think
To
considering
lose the acting.
Oh, I mean, considering his pattern of obsession with Deep Space Nine and Quark, I think
he does have a bit of hatred of Quark, which I mean, Quark actually comes out with and says.
It's starting more and more to feel like, you know, a bully boy pulling a girl's pigtail on the playground because he's actually really interested in her and can't express his emotions.
Maybe a little bit, yeah.
I think he's got a little thing for Quark,
But yeah, he basically makes a threat to liquidate them all.
Yes, which he's very excited to do.
I guess so.
His impotent smugness that Jeffrey Combs does so well.
Yes.
Face it, Zach. It's over. You're finished. Bankrupt. I'm going to liquidate you.
And after being ordered to get him Eelwasser.
Eelwasser. Yeah, why is it German? Why a German name?
I don't know. Apparently, these brands of beverages were introduced by the writers in a book that they wrote about Ferengi. So this was the first canonical appearance of Sluggo Cola.
Drink Sluggo Cola, the slimiest cola in the galaxy.
That's the worst jingle tune ever.
I know, but if you do it for 300 years, eventually people are going to remember.
It's also very cool because everybody joins in singing that because it's one of those tunes. I mean, that's how it works. I mean, I still know commercial jingles from were on TV when I was young. You know, they are living rent free in my brain, and it's like occasionally at weird times they just pop
brands
right up.
that no longer exist.
Exactly.
And campaigns that just haven't been run for decades.
But yeah, I guess repetition works. But yes.
And Quark kicks Brunt out.
Yeah, he goes out.
You dare threaten your Negus?
Acting Negus. You may liquidate us tomorrow, but right now, this is still my establishment. Now get out before I kick you out.
Very good, Quark.
Quark decides it's all too much and wants to have her lie down, which Ishka is not having any of.
Nope. She walks in with so much energy.
Yeah.
And her fantastic outfit, by the way, there are very different lines of female fashion than we're used to in the fashions that surround us. But she's got this sequined belt, and it's got the sort of drapery and line of a dress, but it's a catsuit.
Similar to what Quark later wears.
Accentuating her breasts with, in particular, sort of the gravity of her breasts is really emphasized by this dress, with an underwire that doesn't so much support as just gracefully...
enhance.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that makes sense because, if females on Ferenginar were allowed to wear clothes, there's not going to be bras either.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm probably thinking that they want to, keep a little bit of that in the modes of dress,
Yeah.
That seems, I can see that worked.
And also, whatever they actually are,
Right.
by the way, we don't even know that they're mammals.
Oh, good point. Yeah. I mean, yes.
Might be, but
coincidental. They'd have, similar traits, the sexual dimorphism as mammals do.
Thanks, progenitors. Thanks.
Progenitors.
This scene of their escalating anger, like it's a repeat of scenes that we've seen before.
Oh,
between
yes.
them.
Yeah, it's definitely, they have their usual shouting match at each other.
And Siddig El Faddil, as he still went by at the time, he talked about these people. Like, this argument was really, really important because these two people have access to spaces within each other where they can really hurt one another.
Absolutely, yeah.
And you can see them starting off choosing not to do that. They start off with the basics, offending one another's politics and insulting one another's actions, but then getting closer
the contents
and
of their fridge.
Right, yeah.
These are minced. I want it fresh.
You know, this is all your fault.
It's my fault. You don't have fresh tube grub.
You stick one end of the tube between your teeth and you suck it out. It actually sounds quite nice.
I don't know. I mean, slimy yet satisfying, I believe, is what they called it.
Ugh. Yes, one of the many, many highlights of the original Lion King.
Yeah.
They get more personal.
Yeah.
And more personal.
And he accuses her of having plotted this all along and basically manipulating Zek into doing her bidding.
And he's right.
He's totally right.
She doesn't deny it.
Yeah.
Because, this was part of her attraction to Zek. And
power. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, you've ruined everybody's lives and blah, blah, blah. And if you were worried about that, then you wouldn't have done that.
And she tries to bite back, to do the airing of the grievances.
Yeah.
That he's a bad son, and she sort of struggles to speak, and he taunts her and taunts her and taunts her.
You should be ashamed of yourself. Why, you are nothing but a... Why, you are you.
Go ahead, say it.
You're a...
I'm still waiting.
You're a...
Until finally she clutches her breast pearls.
Your feminine wiles and all that. But yes, it's quite a long argument, and he gets more and more angry, and he gets genuinely upset. I guess it's more than that. He's not even trying to. I don't think he's deliberately trying to hurt her at that point. He's just like, throwing it all out there. He's getting angry, and he's not being calculating about it. That's the word I'm trying to look. I think it's
very good.
Yeah, he's not doing it to goad her on. He's just being angry.
Yeah, the gloves have come off. And he's just yelling. I think you're right.
Yeah,
he's not actually trying to achieve anything.
And he's expecting a retort, and he's like, "Go ahead, say it. Say your worst."
Yeah,
it's interesting what he was expecting. That's
clearly
he's expecting her to say something, and daring her to say.
Yeah, because he just wants her attention.
I think so, yeah. So he's like, spineless, selfish, spineless, ungrateful, miserable excuse for a son. Is that the best you can do? I haven't even started, blah, blah, blah. And then go ahead. And apparently he's expecting her to say something. I kind of want to know what that was, but I guess it's not...
Yeah, at this point, blood was already draining out of her brain.
Yeah.
Because her heart had stopped like a few seconds ago, this poor woman, in the infirmary.
Fortunately, heart replacement surgery, like gender reassignment surgery, is trivial here.
They're so worried, and then Bashir walks out in his red Jelaba sort of surgical scrubs, and he goes, she needed a new heart anyway, so took care of that.
Take care of her. She'll just need a few days of
extra ribs.
Complete rest. Yes.
All I do know is that she keeps repeating the same phrase over and over. It's all Quark's fault. It's all Quark's fault.
Which Quark was denying. He was just completely downplaying the entire argument.
Yeah, she asked for some tube grubs. I paid for some. She said thanks and then collapsed.
Yeah.
In his view.
There's a few steps missing there, but yes, complete rest and no Quark.
He's taken to the bar by Rom and Zek with Mehadu standing in the background. Another one of these tableaus of multiple characters and in a single take. I don't understand how anyone... This is the serious version of directing this episode?
I guess, yeah.
Each of these scenes is a multi-Ferengi tableau and a whirlwind of camera actions.
Very well done.
Yeah, absolutely. Where he confesses that, maybe some words were exchanged. That's just how we show affection to one another.
Yeah. I mean...
Unhealthy, but it's actually kind of true.
So, yes, meeting has to be postponed. Brunt comes back in again to do a little bit more taunting. because he knows that what they're onto.
Yes, and that their plan to have Nilva convinced by Ishka's brilliance is not going to work, and instead I'm going to snatch up another loyalist.
Yep. Because there's no more other Ferengi females on DS9.
Uh-huh.
Because when I was thinking, I mean, like that we know of, I mean, one of the waiters might be married and keep his wife in their quarters.
Yikes.
I mean, yes, I know. Like,
Well, there's been a female waiter before. Well, she was cross-dressing as a man in order to be able to
Oh, right,
pass.
yes. I mean, yeah.
I think that was an excellent episode.
I don't recall it, but...
Well, let's see if we get that recommended to us. And yeah, this is the one where Negus Zek flies off the handle and tries to attack him.
One day you're the Grand Negus of the Ferengi Alliance, and the next you're nothing but a common barroom brawler.
Yeah.
Such lovely snide lines.
Oh, Brunt is amazing.
And even though Zek is heavily dependent on Ishka, he... Actually, I was going to say, he still digs his heels in. No, he's got Ishka on his mind. Like, she wouldn't quit.
What would Ishka do?
Exactly.
WWID.
Which is, the foundation of his current career.
Yeah. And she would make a new...
She couldn't find a female. She'd make
one. Yep.
You mean a hologram?
Better than a hologram.
What could be better than a hologram?
You.
Even though we've seen very good holograms walking around Quark's bar.
Yeah, but as soon as anybody walks in with like a tricorder or whatever, they fall apart and then the glasses fall to the ground. That amazing scene where he's trying holo in.
I know. I was selecting the sheaf back for that episode just the other day. So. That's very fresh in my memory. But yes, everybody looks at Quark and it's like, okay, apparently Behr has no problem in playing along, doing a quick little...
Yeah, he just... off screen. I wonder if he's got like a gender reassignment shotgun. Okay, now hold still. Hold very still.
I mean, it could be like, that happens. He's got the gender reassignment office hours, between 10, between
just
10,
walk-in
10
reassignments.
Between 10 and 11 every morning. It's
got a little sort of Dabo wheel for people who can't really decide or like, what am I in the mood for?
I mean, it's like, to be honest, like we see a lot in Star Trek, various forms where people have physical changes done to them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
usually only cosmetic, but
on the forehead.
Yeah, exactly. Or like
turn into Klingons,
green skin.
Ooh, yeah, I don't have to take any pictures. Hey, by the way, for those who might be concerned, when I talk about yes, that spinning the wheel. By the way, that's not just like a stupid little joke. There are plenty of like genderqueer, gender non-conforming people. Who's like...
What do I feel like today?
Exactly, except instead of standing in front of your fantastic wardrobe of various like yellow jumpsuits and dresses...
Yeah, it's kind of like the Dial-A-Mood thing at the beginning of Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep.
Oh, whoa. Sick Philip K. Dick mood organ reference there. Yeah. What do I feel like? Oh, I think I'm going to be sad for an hour. Like,
right.
Call me... Wow.
Well, if you're going to do that, I'm going to dial anger. Okay, let's compromise. We both dial what we just like had in our diaries for today. It's like,
yeah, let's do ennui. And that's just how we'll feel for a while. Wow.
But yes, apparently only after a few hours, Quark is more than fine. He's like completely recovered from his surgery, and now he is dressed in, a very gaudy outfit.
It's gorgeous.
Oh, it is.
It's so shiny. It's got
Lots
these
of
beautiful
shiny
patterns.
benders. Has he had low production as well?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so, yeah.
Now, what pronouns do we use now?
She, I guess.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Because Quark is currently presenting as female, and clearly that's the intention. So that's what we're going to do. In fact, we hear that come up a few times. Like Lita's already decided on she, her. And Quark is sitting very primly, knees together.
As Rom instructs him to later as well. Lita is immediately going, we're going to have to walk on your work.
Yeah, we're going to have to walk on your work. Yes, let's do that.
Right.
And we're immediately treated to the wonderful stereotype of women.
You look nice.
Nice? That's all?
Very nice.
I feel so flushed and emotional. Rom seems to know quite a lot about how to do this.
Yeah, which Lita is quite impressed by.
Yeah.
He showed off, like, really quite a good sort of feminine walk. Like, it's more of a glide, and then you sit down. He's got that sort of 1950s sitcom housewife posture.
Yes, I guess how he drapes himself against that weird little sitting
It's called a chair.
It's a very weird chair.
Yeah. Chairs are... A lot of chairs are weird. They find the weird ones on Star Trek.
That's very true, yes. I think Worf takes the cake.
Yes.
This looks more like one of those like Roman lounges that they just put on its side. So where they're sitting on the short bit, and it's...
a chaise longue.
A chaise longue, yes, I suppose. A chaise longue is like an extension part from a couch, is it?
Yeah, but that's like one of those Roman couches.
Right. No.
It's often misspelled as a chaise lounge.
Right.
Of course, despite the fact that it's long. And I love Lita. Like, all three of them are watching Rom do this performance, and Lita's there. That's good. She's got some complicated feelings. It's like, I wonder if I should maybe we should do some new kind of role-playing in the bedroom tonight. Like,
yes. I mean, maybe you can take some tips from Rom.
Exactly.
And maybe that's where he's learned it.
All these facts, figures, they're too much for me to remember.
And that's only one of her two problems, because yes, the other one is she has to memorize her entire business plan for justifying a female equality society.
Zek's getting a little handsy already.
Fun sexism. That's just what boys are like.
Yes. Yes. Oh, God, that little laugh.
Fucking misogynist gremlin.
Nog arrives with news that...
He's here. He's on the station.
Who is?
Nilva.
But the first thing he says is like, "Oh, you look nice." Yes.
Once again, a lot of lifting being done by the word nice.
Yeah. But he actually means it.
This time, yeah.
Yeah, he gets sent to talk to him and like, okay, tell him.
You have to delay him.
Yeah, just like tell him we'll meet tomorrow and it'll be fine. And what if he asks about Ishka? Then like Ishka is sick and will he meeting my other advisor?
Lumba. Yeah.
Lumba?
Well, am I Lumba now? I guess.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Might be quite a nice name in Ferengi culture.
Welcome to Deep Space Nine, Chairman Nova.
You drink Sluggo Cola, don't you?
The slimiest cola in the galaxy? Doesn't everybody?
Good boy.
And it's like, okay, he acts very like un-Ferengi. I'm like, here, have a free drink.
Well, it's a promotional sample of his product.
I suppose, yeah. Still, yeah. But he asked him, like, you do drink it, don't you? It's like, yes, of course, everybody drinks it. Like,
good boy.
It's the
That's what I want to
slimiest
hear.
cola in the universe. Or
in the galaxy. Don't worry, Star Trek writers don't know the difference in universe and galaxy either.
Fair point.
And it's this, like, he's got a whole bag of these. It's a heavy bag.
I know, right. And he goes, and he's quick with it, because, like, Rom keeps, like, losing him. Because every time he rounds a corner, it takes Rom, like, 10 seconds to catch up with him.
Yeah. He's a spry old fella,
right?
this.
Nilva, how nice to see you again. Grand Negus Brunt.
Acting! Grand Negus Brunt.
Who's just casually, he's just picked a random hallway to be standing in, waiting for Nilva.
Brunt was like probably knew which docking strut his ship was coming in on, and like made sure that he was on the way to the Grand Ring or whatever it's called.
The Promenade.
The Promenade, yes, that's the one.
I mean, that's probably the case.
Yeah.
I do kind of like the idea that he spent the last 24 hours just standing in various hallways.
Just hoping for the... Nilva is all with the deference. He kisses the staff, as he should.
Yep.
And he makes nice with him. It's like, oh, well, you're just here to talk, you know?
He stands his ground, but he's clearly open to doing business with either of the Nagai.
Yes.
He's got this old boy billionaire kind of swagger, the self-made tycoon. That's the word I'm looking for. Like, there was a time in his life when Donald Trump was exactly like this.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
The extremely self-aggrandizing, performative affection for other people, complete disinterest in the world around him other than... speaking of stereotypes that were once played for laughs and are now just horrible...
Yes. Let's not go there.
Exactly.
Nog fails to divert him to his quarters. He insists to come and see Lumba.
Yes, because he doesn't want to wait until tomorrow.
He's got a meeting on Ferenginar. For a shareholder meeting on Ferenginar, yes.
And just as Quark is giving in to fatigue and all these pressures that Lita, Rom, and Zek are placing on him, and the judgmental stares of Mayhardu, who insists on being in every frame.
Yes.
I'm going to bed.
Now?
I'm exhausted. If I don't get any sleep, I'll never make it through tomorrow's meeting.
Hello! And he greets Zek.
Everybody gets more Slimo Cola.
Yep, the slimiest cola in the galaxy with 43% algae in every bottle.
Yes.
That sounds nice, actually.
I don't know.
There's plenty of algae.
I mean, you like those drinks with those little bits of aloe in them.
Yeah, well, you like kombucha, so I guess we're both weird.
I didn't say that.
You said it with an accusatory tone.
Oh, no, I mean...
well, you like those.
Yeah, well, I'm just going to say, it's like, you like those, so I can see how you could like... I mean, I guess it's like, it doesn't have to contain...
It's got a little bit of texture, right?
I guess.
Like, hey, with your orange juice, do you like the fresh, chunky stuff?
I like pulp, yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, which apparently is beetroot in most...
Oh.
Yeah, in most oranges, most orange juices, unless it's actually freshly squozen. Most of the, yeah.
I love how you conjugate squeeze.
It's a hill I'll die on.
I'll be there, right with you. Maybe not on it, but like just safely over the ridge, cheering you on, and like I've got a little flag and everything. No time to prepare, because now Nilva's here. He wants to meet this new advisor, and Lumba says hello.
We can go to Quark's and get some nice, juicy snail steaks. You can meet with Lumba tomorrow.
He's already like putting the sort of sleeves.
Oh yes, he's
drool.
putting the eyes on her as well already. So absolutely. So yeah, I'll give you. I mean, this is like very weird, but we earned a lot of Latinum together, so I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, and we are going to Quark's.
Yep. Well, they order snail steaks,
lightly seared.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't wearing all those clothes make you feel like a deviant?
What the hell? Nilva!
Yes. Well, it's what they come from. But yes, explain it to me. And Quark does a very good... Lumba, sorry, yes. Yep. Well, I mean, Lumba is not the name she chose for herself, so,
Oh, true. Okay.
Yeah.
See, it's difficult. See, I'm going to stick with... Because there's a later scene where Brunt straight up dead names her.
Oh, yes.
Right? Which is very reminiscent of that. And even though it's not her chosen name, I'm going to be sticking with it anyway.
You see this dress I'm wearing? Have you any idea how much it would sell for on Ferengi?
Yeah, he's interested.
Yeah.
He's picking up what she's putting down.
Everybody else is like standing on the top floor, just like leaning over the balcony, watching what's going on. Which is
Lita can't hear, but they will shh.
Of course, oh yeah, they're all ears. Which is a joke, which is again made in this episode.
Uh-huh. And this is a brilliant sort of summation that Nilva gives. Yeah, so if they can wear clothes, then they can have pockets.
And then they can have...
To which I imagine a lot of women in the 90s and today went, hey, hang on. No. The one does not follow from the other.
But I can't imagine that, like, Ferengi wear would have no pockets. I mean, that's...
Yeah. Yeah, where do you keep your change for the bakshish or whatever they call it?
I know, right? Your little strips of slips of Latinum is what they use for those usually. He makes a good case.
Yeah, I mean, very reductive to our ears, of course, but...
Yes, and she throws him a free slogan.
Drink Sluggo Cola and keep your teeth that lovely shade of green.
Pulling a little bit of Coke Light on that.
Oh, yes. Yeah, Cola Light. Specifically like marketed toward women with hot dudes cleaning windows and whatever. To quench that particular type of thirst.
Zek was right about you. You're very intelligent.
For a female.
I'm just going to say woman instead of female because,
I know. I know that last time that we did a Ferengi one, you wanted to do Female, so you said, I'm going to be saying that the whole episode. You didn't, because you heard how it sounded and it was not fun. That's fun to say. No, I totally get you. Let's now go to the economically mandated sexual intercourse that I have decided we are going to be having.
Yes, let's have dessert. And this is where we get, I'm going to... the best I can give it is like the Pepe Le Pew-esque scene, which is played for comedy and it's painful to watch.
Exactly, because it's not funny. I mean, there was a time when most of the audience just didn't hear those horrible stories or didn't think about what it was like to be objectified and exploited and abused like this, and they just lived like this. Fiction was the closest they came. You talked about British tradition of panto, the drag shows. They include a lot of like sexual uncomfortableness and gay panic,
Yes, I guess there was a lot of that. I mean, it depends on like sometimes some movies, like Some Like It Hot plays it really well.
Not familiar.
Oh, it's a famous, I want to say Jack Lemmon, but I don't
Was it Rock Hudson? Famously gay.
No. I think it was Jack Lemmon who played that sort of movie. But it's a famous black and white movie, which is also it's one of those famous cross-dressing movies.
Oh yeah.
There's a whole scheme where I think it's Jack Lemmon, has to dress up as a woman.
I'm not arguing. It could be Jack Lemmon for
and it ends. The ending scene is fantastic when he's sitting in a boat and he's like starting the rich billionaire is running off with the woman he loves, which is Lemon in drag.
Oh, okay.
And he starts confessing to her, and he's like, "Oh, that's fine." It's like, I'm a man. Nobody's perfect, and it's like he's just it's played completely straight. It's like you can just see him. He's like sitting there driving his boat, and he's smiling a little bit dreamily, and it's like,
aww.
So yes, fantastic film.
Hey, well done.
Yep, Kay, you are spot on there. Some Like It Hot features Jack Lemmon, as well as Tony Curtis, Jamie Lee Curtis's father, and Marilyn Monroe. Really great movie.
Yeah. So how could this not be a farce? Because they've got the table in between them.
Oh yeah, it's the classic running around, getting in front of the objects, and then there's the disappearing behind the curtain, all sorts of sounds of,
accostement.
implied.
Let me see.
Yeah.
What are the subtitles here? Crashing and clattering, Quark screaming, Nilva going, yeah, and more clattering. And then Lumber comes out wielding a chair to keep him at bay, and he's still coming toward her.
He is backing. Yeah, she's backing off, keeping him in like a lion tamer with the chair holding it.
Marry me.
I don't think your wife would approve. Who cares? She hasn't touched my lobes in months.
So I can tell.
Jesus.
I can. And then she's like, "Oh yes, I can tell." It's
See, the dialogue is really on point in this episode. It's so snappy.
Just as she's dangling from the rafters, literally, with Nilva holding onto her, Brunt walks in.
Yeah, just walks into somebody else's quarters.
Casually strolls into Nilva's quarters. Yeah, that's fine, apparently, whatever. And we get to yet another very uncomfortable scene.
Yeah, I think, and here, playing for gay panic, also a part of a lot of drag shows or cross-dressing shows, where a straight gentleman is confronted with expressions of affection from someone that is actually not a woman, and how uncomfortable to
Nilva
watch.
doesn't know, and he is very appreciative of it. So I guess she's a good kisser. I must say, I do love Brunt's face. His shock and horror expression is fantastic. I will have to say that about it.
Yeah. I'm increasingly thinking now that actually, I don't know if this is a headcanon that is shared by many people or whether there's maybe a whole line of fan fictions about this. Do you think Brunt is actually in love with Quark?
Oh, secretly. Oh, the whole bully with the pigtails again.
Because he keeps going after Quark and he just likes Quark's attention so much. And so it's not so much, dude's kissing. Oh, he's not kissing me. I do nothing but kissing him under the moonlight.
Brunt accuses her of cross-dressing, I think, and it ends up with her having to disrobe, show her breasts, I guess.
Yeah, or whatever it is that they've got.
Now, are you sure? Oh, completely.
I tell you, that is not a female.
Well, she's close enough for me.
Go, Zek. Day is saved. Nilva is going to do everything in his power to help Zek get back into his position, because that is what Lumba wants.
Exactly. And when he leads Lumba away,
again,
she blows a little kiss.
And Brunt again standing there in shock and horror. Again.
Dead naming her again.
Yes.
His name's Quark. Boo. And all's well that ends well.
Again, we're having a very emotional, female hormones are emotional moments.
Fun.
Which is,
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry that I'm not doing the thing where I'm defending it, but it's this is very tough to do. But Armin Shimerman, I think, did a great job.
Oh, yes.
I guess all these accusations, there was a thing where he was accused of playing it too dramatically, which I just don't fucking see. Which may just be because the expectations for these stories in the 90s and the concept of someone presenting or transitioning was so farcical.
I guess so, yeah.
To mainstream audiences that even this, to our eyes, hugely over the top and stereotypical performance was considered too dramatic, too serious.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. Ooh, yes, I mean, I can't remember. It's like it'd be interesting to like, yeah. I mean, we saw the opinion of a lot of people, which a lot of hate, but also a lot of appreciation. I guess it went both ways. Which I mean,
ooh, what if it's centered around Lumber, which, yes, Quark's willingness to kiss Nilva as Lumber,
right?
She was entirely convinced of doing it, and Quark is presented as straight, not having any attraction to men. So maybe the audiences would have expected Quark to do the ooh face and go through it anyway.
But he goes for it full-heartedly.
Yeah.
I think, one thing you could easily explain that is because he's trying to stick it to Brunt.
Oh, do you think he's also kind of in love with Brunt as well?
No,
I see where you're coming from. Now you've convinced me. Now an argument that you haven't chosen to make, but it's actually, this is a whole episode about them flirting at each other and using everybody else as pawns in their devilish game.
As beards and...
Okay, I've come around. This is a brilliant episode. We found the secret.
Quark gets a hug from Odo, much to Odo's discomfort.
Yes, I mean...
And to Rom and, what's his name, surprise, the quiet guy who's sitting at the bar. Always on.
Oh, Morn.
Morn, that's the one, yes.
Yeah, because Odo walks into the bar, he's Quark's office wife, right?
Yeah.
That's the relationship that they,
I guess,
they have.
In a way. I mean, he's the one who keeps an eye on Quark most of the time. He's the one who's like constantly keeping Quark's illegal shenanigans in check. That's how he sees himself. It's like, the police officer and the camaraderie he gets with the guy that he keeps picking up anyway.
Closest thing they have to friends.
Yeah.
And he's being awfully supportive. Is Odo.
Oh, yes.
Says, well,
absolutely.
I'm glad you had a pleasant evening.
Yeah.
He says to the tear-filled, emotional, hormone-raging stereotype of a Quark.
Yes. Zek and Ishka come to say their goodbyes.
I like that it hasn't been just completely solved. He's not reinstated as Grand Nagus
Well,
yet.
it's kind of implied. But
he has challenges ahead of him.
True.
And I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah. He's so recognizable.
Ishka is back on her feet again, fortunately.
Yes.
And he talks to Quark, who asks for her forgiveness.
Yes, which she grounds him because you may be an awful son, but you made a wonderful daughter. Which
Hell
is,
yes.
Fantastic. Yes, that's the best. That's the only way you can take such a thing as a parent, even on this day and age.
And I hope the experience taught you something.
Yes.
Walk a mile in somebody else's shoes.
But then it goes like, oh yes, it made me all compassionable and blah blah blah. Worst nightmare, which is like, yeah.
And then Rom goes up to Quark and goes, "You are so lucky."
Yeah.
Like, oh, don't you want to stand in front of Dr. Bashir's gender transition shotgun and just give it a try for an afternoon and just see what it's like? You can always just go.
Surely Lita would approve.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Like, maybe she's, hey, I was just thinking, he's just... Oh, I found this in the hallway, and it just happens to be the gender transition shotgun. I don't know why I find that image so delightful, but that's like if you were going
transition shotgun.
Yeah, if you were going to make like gender transition or bodily adaptation technology, would you make a boring booth? Nah, you'd want something more exciting.
Lock and load.
And we get the button of the episode, which is Allura.
Yes.
Comes in and tells Quark that she read the book.
Yeah.
Who Mocks for Fun and Profit.
And she's like, oh no, that was so bad of me. I shouldn't have never done that to you. And sends her off. And she's actually a little bit,
with a raise.
Yeah.
She goes,
2 slips? Okay, make it 3.
It's just that Umox sounded like fun. The tympanic tickle, the eustachian tube rub, the auditory nerve nibble.
I mean, in a way, I don't like that either. Because it's the whole thing. Like, in the beginning, she gets pressured into it. And then, like, she comes around to agreeing to basically sexual harassment.
Yes.
Because it sounds like fun, which, okay, I mean, fine if it's a role-playing scenario. But
of course, but that requires a lot more communication.
Right, yeah.
Oh, I remember it was my husband told me that the only sort of talk that he got from his mother about sex in general was not very guided in that development of his life. But she told him one thing, which is that if there's a porn story about someone being forced into sex and then they wind up liking it, that's bullshit.
Right.
And I thought that was amazing that was the only thing she ever said about helping a young man in his discovery of sex. The only thing I want you to know.
That's bullshit.
That's bullshit and doesn't happen.
And that's fine if that's your fantasy, and if you're into getting bullied or into otherwise, that's great. It's like a fine fantasy to have, but it doesn't just happen like that.
Exactly.
Yeah. As long as everybody knows that we're at play, and
So these scenes at the beginning and end were added later. And probably in response to Armin Shimerman's complaint that Quark doesn't learn anything in this episode.
Right.
He's had that problem with other episodes before. I think the one where Tim Russ invades the space station.
Oh yeah.
His uppance
he doesn't get punished. Yeah, he doesn't get punished for basically letting them in. Yeah.
And so this scene, I have a different reading for Allura.
Okay.
Because in the early days of Playboy magazine, which was for gentlemen to enjoy and the celebration of the female form through the male gaze, but there were aspects of it that were really unique at the time, which involved like photos of like young women dressing up for a night on the town and then also taking their clothes off later.
Right.
Which, gender politics of the 1960s, whatever. But it was this idea, hey, nice girls like sex too.
Oh, okay.
Which was kind of a revolutionary kind of concept that you don't just have, the unseemly harlot who happens to like sex. No, everybody likes sex.
Yeah.
So the idea that this young woman, even though it was an uncomfortable situation, she found this book. Oh, this is actually something that I want to try. Oh, I'll find somebody else to do this with that I actually do like.
Which sends Quark chasing after her. It's like, wait, what am I saying?
Yeah. So I spoke too soon in that he learned something.
Yeah.
Regression toward the norm.
Yes, I mean, that's a lot of that happens with Quark.
Well, and that was it for Prophet and Lace.
It was.
2 segments.
Yeah.
Keep reminding ourselves that aside from our deleted scenes, we should also have, like, who did you think was...
So fucking cool.
Oh, difficult. I mean, Quark is the obvious choice, but...
Quark or Armin Shimerman?
Oh, I see that. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No. In that case, if you put it like that, definitely Armin Shimerman.
He did a great job, didn't he?
He did.
It was difficult material.
Yes, it was played for laughs in the wrong bits here and there, but it was a good, Other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, it was a good episode.
Yeah, we're getting a lot out of it. For me, and I wonder, Chief, if this is for you as well, the costume designer.
Yeah.
Chief, can you please give the credits?
That would be Robert Blackman, a multiple Emmy award-winning and nominee costume designer, one for Next Generation, Time's Arrow, as well as Pushing Daisies, which will always be near and dear to my heart and was canceled way too soon. Fantastic designer, Robert Blackman. Love his work through all of Star Trek.
Thank you. The costume design was amazing. The female outfits, how does Ferengi culture have female fashion if women don't wear clothes to begin with? I don't know.
I mean, I guess it's a lot. This just must have come out of.
Ishka just invented it.
This must have come out of Ishka's wardrobe. I mean, and they can probably replicate it. Make this.
Oh yeah, totally. But how did they decide what looks nice on women if women don't usually wear?
Well, clearly, anything. Ishka, whatever Ishka decided.
Yeah. Oh wow. He's really put her stamp on the society, but also like Brunt's outfit, which is even more sequined and bepearled.
One more thing I have about the outfits, because Nilva's outfit, he wears this kind of like brooch thing right at his throat, which I recognized immediately as a little screen that is screwed over a PC fan, except it's gilded here. It is 100% a little PC fan screen.
That's amazing.
That he's wearing there.
Like all of this had to be made in like under a week because that's the sort of
prop department. Like grab some random shit painted gold and stick it on there.
Yep.
All right.
Such is the way of weekly television. So that was for our MVPs. And do you have a
Captain's Log supplemental?
Yes, my missing scene, which ended up on the cutting room floor, is the one where initially it was Rom who was picked to be the female, but that plan fell through after he flat out refused to wear clothes while he was a female.
Oh wow, yeah.
It's like, no, I will not do that. Like, I can't be seen in public with clothes.
He takes his role too seriously.
Exactly.
Oh, whoa! Maybe that's like his whole thing. Maybe that's the reason why he's so uncomfortable with Moogie wearing clothes, because that's kind of like his feminine ideal that he wants for himself.
Maybe, yes, but
Right.
but yeah, him like I can see Ron being enough of a traditionalist to like flat out like refuse, like becoming a woman, fine, but I'm not wearing clothes. I said.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's my deleted scene.
Oh, yeah, and I think I'm a Brunt Quark shipper.
Oh.
During the course of this episode, I think there's really no explanation that better explains the limitless interest that he has in this backwater bar.
Yes. And yeah, I just got a hate boner for him, you know?
Yes, exactly. So envious of Nilva. I'm going home and writing in his diary and how disappointed he is that he didn't even get yelled at this time. So sad.
All right.
Well,
So.
Oh, it was actually, I know that we struggled through it, but I actually liked it. I really thought it was a fun episode. And I'm really glad that Lauren recommended it to us.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for that. So, what do we have for next week?
Oh, okay. Now let's find out.
First thing in the morning, I replicate some curtains.
First thing in the morning, I'm replicating some curtains. Okay, so someone's worried about, like, decoration. Next.
Needless to say, the view from my quarters has been less than stellar lately.
Oh, hang on. I think it's a TNG episode, but there's clearly something that's outside shining in, and that needs to be. I know that's what I need quarters, but I seem to vaguely recall this. I noticed that no names have been mentioned. Like usually, he tells us which character is.
So he recently asked me about this. Like, hey, is it too hard if I don't use the names? Because previously he's chosen to omit the names when they would give too much away.
Right.
And then maybe, like, I think his devious mind said maybe I should just never include the names in order to. Which I think, I mean, I was almost going to think like maybe this was the Lower Decks episode where Beimler's stuck next to the nacelle shining in through his...
But that's not definite. We watched that episode just the other week, and...
I mean, we haven't said that we're never going to do an episode twice. It'd be weird to do two in a...
And that line is definitely not in that episode.
Oh, yes, okay. Well, less than stellar is the view. What else?
The robot has been neutralized. May I leave now?
I think this is Voyager.
Okay.
Oh, I'm getting closer to what I think. I think it's going to be season 5, episode 1.
Nihilophobia, the fear of nothingness, or in layman's terms, the fear of nothingness.
Okay.
Oh, that sounds like a data line.
So it could be the Doctor.
Yeah.
And lastly,
would you be satisfied with I'm just catching up on some reading?
No, absolutely no clue.
No, I think it's Voyager season 5, episode 1, Night.
All right, hit it.
On. The episode is Voyager season 5, episode 1.
Yeah.
Night.
Fantastic.
Yes, thank you.
You're way too good at this.
Thank you. Well, nowhere near as good as Lauren Rivers, who recommended today's episode, who bragged that these games have no challenge for her. She always gets them on the first line.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Hey, and if you want to send in a recommendation, we love it when people have personal perspectives on lesser loved episodes. Go over to joyoftrek.com/links to send us your recommendation. If you want to help keep the lights on here at the Joy of Trek studios, you can do so at the Patreon, where we actually have some fun monthly bonus materials.
You're stealing all of Greg's lines.
I'm just, yes, actually, yeah, that really is what I'm doing. So instead of that, like, why don't you just listen to what Greg says during the outro with music by Fox and Moore and produced by my chief engineer, Greg, and with your hosts, Keki and Kay. But in the meantime...
The hell is this?
I'm leaving Starfleet.
Energize!
Just like Kaki said, we hope you've enjoyed this week's episode with your friends Kay and Kaki. Production and editing by Chief Engineer Greg, and music by Fox Amore. Join us next time for Voyager Season 5, Episode 1, Night. Visit joyoftrek.com/links to send us recommendations, support us on Patreon, or to find us on Twitter. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you for listening to The Joy of Trek, and we'll see you out there.